Hi, Duran. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay One. First off, I think that you have a good working idea in the use of force. So, you're posing the idea that this is what you should look at. This is the idea that you should look at. Should you read this essay, which is trying to determine is the use of force justified? And you present the idea that it could go either way, right? You could say that the use of force is justified. There's evidence for that, but then there's also evidence to say that the use of force is not justified. And you present the idea that it turns out that both are right. Um, but it feels like at the end of the essay you come to a completely different conclusion. Because you end up saying that the use of force was correct, which seems kind of contradictory to the idea that you present here. So I would encourage you to perhaps, tease out that gray area a little more clearly. I am perfectly fine if this is the conclusion that you come to. But the fact that you bring up the gray area early on, but don't really explore that in the essay, I think that would make for a good essay. Let's talk about what's going on in the essay. As a whole, there's a lot of editing that didn't take place that needs to occur. So, what I would like you to do is go back and read for awkward sentences. This opening sentence, for example, it feels like you got started on an idea, but you crammed too many ideas together and it ended up not making any sense. So, I would recommend going back reading for awkward sentences. You'll see here that Microsoft is flagging where you have left out your commas. You need to edit for that. There is also an error here where you need to use possessive, not plural, because there's not more than one family in this case. It's families money. It looks like not a lot of editing occurred with this essay, and that's going to be tied into ethos. So, of course, you do want to edit for clarity. Second, there's no clear thesis statement in this essay. So you say, in this essay, the author tries to persuade the audience in the use of force. As I read that out loud, you probably hear that's another example of an awkward sentence, right? Where like a useful idea gets started, but towards the end of the sentence, it gets awkward. It's unclear what you're trying to say. And you say that both are right here, but really we're given no thesis. Now, you do come to a conclusion at the end, but there's no clear thesis. So you want to make sure that you revise for a clear thesis statement early on in your essay. I think that there are good general ideas in your paragraphing, but I really don't see key points, right? So what I see is a lot of summary of what occurred in the text instead of key ideas that are being presented at the beginning of the paragraph, evidence to support it, and then an explanation of the evidence. In fact, you rely pretty heavily on summarizing general ideas in the text, but not bringing in evidence for support. So really, the majority of the essay just feels like you're summarizing or not Orwell. I'm sorry, you're summarizing Williams's short story when really what you need to be doing is analyzing. I think part of the reason why that happened is this is the conclusion that you came to, and it doesn't come until the end. So if you had a clearer sense of where you were taking this essay at the beginning in a thesis statement, I think the body of the essay would be more clear. So here's what I recommend for revision. I recommend revising for a clear thesis statement, one that you can present in the first paragraph. Revising for clear essay structure. So once you have that thesis statement, you then need key ideas to support it. Looking for evidence that you can bring into those paragraphs for support, and then giving an explanation of the evidence. Finally, you need to edit this for sentences and minor mechanical concerns such as your commas. All right? I'd be happy to talk about this with you further. If you have any questions, just let me know.